Hello, folks. Welcome. Today is Monday, July 20th. Welcome to the Techthusiasm Live podcast, where we're going to hang out for the next hour, talk about some home theater, talk about cool things that we've watched and engaged in home entertainment over the last week or so, talk about the current state of affairs around some of the things happening in the cool hobby. Of course, the Kaleidescape Strato K remains a top line point of conversation that I am repeatedly engaging with over this last week. And yeah, we'll do that and more. Your questions, comments, topics, and suggestions as well in the over the next hour, and hang out and have some fun. So that's the mantra. That's the goal. Welcome, Julius. Welcome, SWH Meta. Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Welcome, folks, coming on in. So it's been an interesting week. Been a fun week. Uh, uh, slice of life topic first. I wonder anybody on the stream. Do you how much do you believe in the supernatural, and do you engage in metaphysical uh, psychological type of things. So, as my wife and I have been doing, as our kids are getting older, we have more latitude to be able to go out and do adult things amongst ourselves, and not always having to take the kids with us, and finding ways and means for them to be taken care of because they can take care of themselves. So we've been on a formal quest to reinstate some regular date night, alone time kind of thing. So last week or last month, actually, a couple weeks ago, we did the first one of those. We went out to the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Great place if you've never been there. Never been to a bad show there. Haven't been there that many times, to be honest, but the few times that we have been there, always a great laugh, always a good time. So we did that. Did an awesome dinner and stuff. That kind of coincided with our anniversary as well last month. But Friday, this past Friday was another date night out, and so we had a metaphysical experience where we had kind of a reader, a somebody attuned to the mystical and all those kind of things. Sitting down in a session, two on one. I say one on one, two on one. It's my wife and I, and this other person at this kind of like spiritual center business, also actually out in Ann Arbor, and so we talked about. She read our energy. She communed with her spirits and whatnot, and talked about some things about our futures, some things about our present. She read into the energy of our kids and talked to some things about where their paths may go, and it was interesting. It was an interesting thing. She at the end she kind of also like communed into like some past life things that started going a little bit beyond the veil for me. I think that kind of just padded the session and maybe wasn't as the most useful part of the whole thing. But hey, after that, it gave us some really fun dinner conversation and whatnot that we've still kind of even been talking about over the weekend in the last few days. Um, I know I definitely had some Julius. I do had an occurrence. Ooh, back when I was a kid, I've had a couple of things in my life that really have made me wonder or attune to I don't know, other worlds, other lives, and that sort of thing. But it was pretty fun. There were a couple questions that we talked about. One about like, hey, are we kind of like in the right place in our lives? Are we in the um, is there another place that we should be? Is there another place that may have something more to offer us than here? And it ironically, she gave the answer to that question, which was not a thing drawing, not an answer to draw us somewhere else, but an answer to say the exact same answer that I give for why like I like Michigan and the reasons that I would stay here. So it was like an affirmation of sorts to say like, hey, you're in the right place. And she gave an explanation about really about Michigan being wildfires aside, wildfire smoke aside, a geologically stable place and all these things. And it's like, geez, I said that. And honest and actually on the drive there, as we were driving through, because our area has been under this total air quality mess for the last days. So we've really been hunkering down, just staying inside, air conditioning on, all the filters and stuff running, things like that. As we were driving, I was talking to my wife, and it's like, I used to like Michigan so much because we're so geologically stable. We have all this water. We don't really get earthquakes. We get occasionally some tornadoes and stuff, We don't get hurricanes, we don't get all these things, and then now we're under this like plumage, it seems, every year, every summer. So it's like a bummer that that this geologically stable place is suffering like geological impact, which isn't technically ours. It's coming from other places and it's affecting us, but still. And so anyway, she gave like that exact definition as like an affirmation that hey, you might be in the right place. And I'm like, holy cow, that was an interesting one. And then I asked her about the business, like my career path. I explained a little bit about what Techthusiasm is all about, and opportunities and how they're going to go kind of over the next 10 years and whatnot. And I was really vague. I didn't say a lot of things. And it's like, what should be aware of? What should we be thinking about? And she gave basically um, a, a more or less a plan that again I could speak to exactly all of the things that I would say about like my commitment to my day job and my perspective on like this tech enthusiasm. A lot of people ask me a lot when I talk about business. I talk about things I'm doing. It's like, oh, like, do you want out of your day job? You're going to quit your day job and do this full time. And it's like, well, I'm not. Someday I could conceive of that happening, but I don't. I'm not under any pressure. Like I'm not under any hurry to do that. I actually like my day job. It has a lot of great benefits. It's very lucrative. I've had great career growth. I get to work with people that I like, develop engineers, develop young people, all the stuff that's fun. It's not, I don't have to kill myself every day in things. So, and based on the age of my kids and their potential college years and all this stuff, um, I could see like I'll be 50 in a couple of months, extrapolate about 10 years. Like I could work there for another 10 years and be completely happy, but at the same time, build this all up on the side. And maybe sometime it eclipses it, maybe it doesn't, but it's like I'm not under any pressure. But she gave like she said literally everything that I say in conversation or when I have like introspective analysis about my life. So it's like, wow, that was like it was almost scary. The 2 conversations there were almost scary, and so it's like, wow, are those like were those answers or those perspectives so predictable that she just kinda called them, or is she really getting something right from her crystal and her spiritual guides and advisors and whatever that she kind of called to? But, there's a couple other things that we talked about, relationship things, things about our kids. I'm not gonna share stuff like that in the podcast here, but it was fun. It made for a really fun time. That's not the kind of thing that I necessarily am like I'm kind of into the idea of the occult, the supernatural and all these things, but I have a very pragmatic mind about that and within our household we are into traditional medicine and we're into holistic medicine. Like we kind of have a balance between the things, but my wife is more into those. So I kind of scheduled it as a surprise that I set up the whole date, all the things that we were going to do, book this appointment. So we had some great Mediterranean food after, and then we found this really really awesome bar. It's like a speakeasy bar in Ann Arbor called The Last Word. If you're in Ann Arbor, check out The Last Word. Right around the corner from this really really great ice cream place. So we had a fun date night, Friday night date night. So looking forward to the next opportunity. Terminator, yeah, Mission is great. Sig Judge, oh, yep. Evening from London. Used to live in Lansing. Cool. One of the truly most authentic and beautiful places in the U.S. Good people. Yeah, Midwesterns. We're friendly. We're the friendly people, I guess, of the U.S. That's our reputation. Good evening to a lot of folks. Oh, does she have a website? I'd have to pull it up. It's like Ann Arbor Spiritual Center. I'd have to find it offhand. But yeah, but we had a good time with it. We definitely had fun, and no matter what, we're just having fun with my wife and enjoying the time and opportunities and reveling in as much of everything as we can because time is short for sure. Blank Slate Creamery though, that's the place that I would recommend for ice cream in Ann Arbor. Yeah, Enlightened Soul Center. This is the place. Enlightened Soul Center in Shop in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Check it out. Go get your spiritual attunement in line. That's the place to do it. So we did that. That was our Friday. Of course, watching a lot of soccer in the last week. I don't know who's been watching. Who was watching? We watched them all. We watched the games. Was it Tuesday and Wednesday? Man, great games in every case. We did watch the consolation third place game. So many goals. Holy cow, that was so exciting. I was rooting for, uh, who's I rooting for originally? I'm trying to think the teams that went through. I'm thinking of Norway. Norway got knocked out on the prior weekend, and I'm drawing a blank on the finalists. It was France, England, Argentina, and Spain, of course. So Spain beat France, Argentina beat England. But man, I'm pulling for the goalies. Pickford, I think his name is, the English goalie in the game against Argentina. Man, that dude held the whole game together until the last minutes. Argentina just keeps winning these games in the last minutes. And then of course Spain just owned it all. They deserved everything that they won all the way through. Um, Not the biggest fan of France and some of the folks there, um, but I respect Argentina as well. But I was telling my buddy, I think I commented last week, I have a really close friend, who hails from Spain, so he's super excited, and, they came over the prior weekend, we were watching some of the games together on Saturday, and, so I've been texting with them through the week and stuff. It's like, man, it's pretty much a guarantee that Spain's gonna win most of the game. They just can't lose in the last 10 minutes. They gotta get to the last 10 minutes and hold it, and it's amazing how that game on Sunday had, like, that kind of feel to it, like, "Oh, man, if Argentina just holds on, like, they need a lead, they need to get ahead." They had a couple of the goals taken back, um, man, and then it's like they gotta hold on because if this goes all the way through as well to the shootout, the announcers were saying that as well. Shootout probably favors Argentina, but man, so much great goalie drama. Again, the English goalie trying to hold out. He was so mad. He's on Wednesday night or whatever. I think it was Wednesday night, banging the ground after they scored after everything he did, jumping, stopping, flying, flopping, and in England at the end of that game, man, just kind of like standing around and like, man, guys, do something, fight for it. But yeah, they just gave up those goals, and that was it. Argentina advances and all that whole game, and then Argentina going down a guy, Spain just fighting, no shots on goal, holding them like that so long. That's man, in soccer, when you're in a low scoring sport like that, you can just like win, you can dominate the whole game, but you lose on like one sequence, one shot, and you lose everything, just everything. It all just hinges on one thing. It's like, man, ugh, that's a tough way to go. So we were looking up as well, like what do these teams get and how does it work? So first place or World Cup winners is the $50 million to the basically to the country's program, and then they have their contracts with the players. And in the U.S., like there's different from country to country, where some players they have like equal opportunity, like everybody kind of makes the same, and then in other places, different players have different contracts, and there's like equality between the men and the women in the U.S., I guess, as well. So it's like 50 million for the first place team, 33 million. And then interestingly, like third and fourth, there's not very much differential. It's like 29 and 27 million. So that third place game isn't for a lot. Easy to see why the Saturday's game, it's like not a lot of these players aren't looking familiar. They're given the second stringers and the second string chance to really get out there and play. The game though was still exciting. Though. That game, so much scoring back and forth. Or actually, England took the bigger lead, and then France fought back, and it was within one goal. Man, that was yeah, yeah. England France was a great third place game. Yeah, it seemed like that one might have turned out to be a bit boring earlier on, but then man, once they started hitting goals and it picked up, that was something. That was definitely something to watch. Meta saying, I tried to watch all the games, such a great month. Really enjoyed the World Cup. Yeah, France winning it all, but glad Spain won. Yeah, happy with Spain. I mean, they earned it, man. They haven't lost. They give up like no goals. Just a dominating team. Spain's goalkeeper was the game's MVP. Yeah, he did his job. Even Argentina's goalkeeper too. Like he was probably even the overall MVP of that game, even though they lost because they'd have been just dominated on the scoreboard. Not they were dominated on the field. Argentina was by Spain, but they would have been absolutely dominated on the scoreboard if not for I'm going to draw a blank on his name now. Um, Oh, I can't remember it. Argentina's goalie, and the dude was playing with a broken finger as well. They were talking a little bit about that in the announcer, so we looked it up. I guess he had a pretty bad broken finger on his right hand. Was supposed to have surgery, didn't have the surgery because he was not going to be out. He was not going to not play the World Cup, so he hasn't been practicing. So the dude's playing these big games without full kind of all in practice, obviously in pain and whatnot. But you got to do what you got to do when you're on the biggest biggest stages in the world. So ugh, yeah, England versus Mexico as well. That was one of the games we missed. One of the games we missed, England Mexico. I heard a lot of good things about that one though. Yeah. Oh wait, finals referees who were paid 300K. So much money, man. So much money going around in this in that whole tournament and whatnot. Sig Judge, I was just too peeved with England to care about the performance in a game that didn't matter. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things. Last and only time we won the tournament was 1966. How much longer? Yeah. Well, another long 4-year wait between now and then. Um, yeah, so much. That was fun though. So much drama. So next year is the women in Brazil. I think it is actually. And then we were looking to see like what's the next big soccer event, and so I think it's like club play through the end of the year, and then beginning of next year, there's like an Asian Cup that where was it in Qatar, somewhere no Saudi Arabia, I think maybe event somewhere in the Middle East is the next big soccer event. So I don't know if that'll translate into us following like club soccer or MLS at all within the household, since we had a now she's kind of semi-retired, but my daughter heavy into soccer over the last years, but we never really got into like watching it too much. We'd watch some in the Olympics and stuff like that, but we've become fans. So I'm already getting asked like, can we go watch the women? Can we go watch the women in 2027? It's like, wow, go to Brazil, watch some games or something. Um, man, yeah, I really thought England was at least going to be in the final. Maybe next time. Yeah. Well, they had them. I mean, they were winning most of that game, right? They lost it. They lost to Argentina at the end. Story of Argentina, the whole tournament, kind of losing significantly through most of the games, and then just pulling these performances out and dropping it at the end. I gotta say, worst halftime show ever. Even worse than the closing ceremony. Cheaply done. Interesting. I thought the acts that they pulled were kind of all right. It moved and it had yeah it. I guess it was fine for what it is. Not maybe a little less than the production that we get out of like a Super Bowl halftime show or something, but I wasn't bothered, I guess. But I um, didn't really necessarily care too much either. We started the game a little late, and then we were trying to get to real time, so we skipped a lot of the halftime analysis, and then we actually ended up hitting real time right at the start of the halftime performance. So from that point forward, we just ended up watching the rest of it and watching that part of the show as well. Well, let's see, just going through the comments, see if there's any other comments about the soccer. Welcome, Steven. Welcome, other folks. Hello, Sren. Welcome, Joe. Other new names here. The Saskatchewan Kid. Awesome. Welcome, Vamps L3I. Lots of new names. So the channel's been popping. I would expect hopefully to see some new folks hanging out with us tonight. We talked a little bit about it last week. The very quick shot through the 40K mark, I think had just happened around last. Does this just happen around last week, or was eminently about to happen? I forget which, but um, things still continue to pop a little bit less. And I learned a lot. I spent a lot of time with Claude in the last week, analyzing quite a number of things, um, not including, of course, the like YouTube and kind of understanding YouTube a little bit better, video performance and understanding the algorithm, stuff like that, trying to get a better um, idea about how like the promotions and stuff work, what you're actually getting, are they worthwhile and whatnot. Had some really interesting insights come out of that. I'm not going to dwell into all of that stuff here on the show, but again, expect to see hopefully more folks coming in, engaging out of all the growth that we've experienced here of late. Meta, sad to lose, yeah, some of the greats going forward, Ronaldo, Neymar, Modric, Messi. Yeah, I feel like I'm really just kind of like coming into soccer. And so, um, watching some of those guys go or at the end of their careers. Maybe we will watch a little MLS or whatever to see some of Messi. So he's retiring. Another thing we learned, he'll be stopping playing, but I guess it's part of his contract that he takes like an ownership stake in the Miami team or whatnot. So he's not leaving the soccer world. He's going to go directly from, I guess, player to executive when he leaves the field and kind of moves on to the next phase of his career. But he was signed through 2028 with them to play, so he'll probably still be around quite a bit of international tournaments and other things like that. Even if he doesn't, even if this was his last World Cup for the next couple of years. Mars, hey, glad you enjoyed the World Cup. Definitely a great one. Yeah, we had a lot of requests in the household that like, oh, we should have gone. We should have gone to a game. It's like, well, didn't think it would quite enrapture us as much as it had done over these last several weeks. I did cancel my Fox One subscription though, so that's set a couple days before it would bill again. Don't need to keep that, but I do appreciate. I think they did a great job covering. Uh, I think they did a great job covering the whole event. That was what we were watching pretty much the games on. Reliable. We were able to jump into any game, watch previously aired games, um, jump around, fast forward as we needed to, get scores and standings and all of that stuff. So I appreciate how well Fox was it Fox One, I think they call it, paid the $20 for a full month plus upstream. Might have actually been billed twice. I think if I got billed twice or billed once. I think we got billed twice. So $40 for all of that. But watching the games in 4K on the big 98 incher in the living room, looked great. But there was definitely occasionally there'd be some streaming. There was still some like ringing and ghosting that would pop up in those streams a good bit. But when they locked in solid, it was it looked great. 4K sports is quite a nice thing to enjoy for sure. High resolution sports and whatnot. So yeah, that's that. So World Cup is over, and we're gonna have a lot more time. I don't know what we're gonna do with our time. Hopefully, we'll get some more movies in, especially as the movies keep popping in 4K cinematic. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And hopefully, two big movies coming this week that I want to try to watch within the week if we can manage to do both of them. My son and I, we've been trying to motivate the girls to get the Ahsoka season one going as well, as we try to get our way through all of the Star Wars, all the Star Wars shows, and get caught up there. I think we'll leave Andor to the side because it's a little too mature for my audience, and especially some of the stuff I think that happens in the second season. I watched season one. I didn't watch season two, and I don't intend to watch the Acolyte based on anything that I've seen or read about that. But we will knock out, I think, Ahsoka, so that Ahsoka's part of the Mandoverse and stuff, the kind of current stuff that's actually pretty decent. And hopefully we'll get better here soon. And then we'll watch Obi-Wan as well, just because of just because of what it represents. I watched Obi-Wan a while back and thought it was a little bit unbalanced, but you kind of watch it for the Vader Obi-Wan confrontation, I guess, if nothing else, and a little bit of lore into like who the Inquisitors and stuff are. Um, so we'll knock those out and then probably be fully caught up on the Star Wars stuff. I had heard as well. I don't know if this is true. I need to I hadn't looked up to corroborate it, that there's some other Mandalorian piece of content was coming out, kind of following up the release of the movie to streaming. But I didn't. I don't remember where I saw that. I think it was in a tweet or some social media. If they drop something a little extra to follow up the movie, I think that would be cool. It's not a full season of the show or anything, but if it's a little short or a little vignette or something, um, that would be pretty cool. So that's kind of next on our watch list after now that we have a little more time available when the World Cup is gone. And if we stay under air quality alerts, I think, oh man, our worst. I think we're at like 500 or 700 on the air quality index last week. We'll be hunkering down in the household in the theater, looking for stuff to do with no more soccer to watch. So it was wild last week though. I drove to work Thursday morning to my office, and it was like zombie apocalypse feel. Everything's orange and yellow, haze everywhere. Nobody's out. A couple of people out walking, and they're all covered up and stuff like that because the only people that were out had dogs. They had to take their dogs out, and Man, it was wild. It was really bad in our office too. I actually ended up coming home because the commercial HVAC systems have to bring in, I guess they have to bring in external air, and it wasn't able to keep up with the filtering. It's like, I think my home air environment is healthier than this one. So we should probably head out and go back there. The other thing that we've been watching, my son and I, is keeping up, and we've got it now. We burned through the first 4 episodes pretty quick. Um, I think just before last a weekend ago. I didn't really mention it, just at the very end of last week's show. But X-Men 97. God, I love X-Men 97. The last episode, we watched the episode. It comes out on Wednesdays, new episodes on Wednesdays, and it just so happens to work out that my son has an activity, my daughter has the same activity, but right after him. So like I take my son, my wife usually takes my daughter. We high five as we're walking out and they're walking in to the same place, and then he and I come home, and so it's perfect. So like we'll come home, we'll watch X Men and hang out, and then the girls will be home in a little bit. So I think that'll be our mode of operation here for the next week or so, or for the next few weeks actually, because I think we're on episode 3, 4, 5 of only like 9. So yeah, the next 4 weeks. Unfortunately, I think it's only a 9 episode season. But man, if you were ever a fan of 90s Marvel, 80s 90s Marvel, the Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, uh, Chris Claremont era, and then a little bit after that into the 90s, even for some of the stories and the things that transpired after that. Man, that show is just it's tops. It's just absolute tops. The animation, um, style, the fighting, the mutant power choreography, and just so much fan service. So much fan service. If you're in the know, um, so good. Probably one of the my favorite things that I've watched in the last year, or what year, whatever it's been. I think since season 1 came out, and then looking forward to additional seasons. I hope that show goes. I hope they continue to expand it, and yeah, and we'll keep going from there. We had the still debating. So I'm also really hoping for a strong resurgence in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and stuff like that. So um, still debating on whether we're going to make it to the theater for Spider-Man or whether we'll wait. I kind of feel like I want to go, but we got to figure out a way to fit it in. But then I think it was today, actually, was it not? Avengers Doomsday first full trailer dropped, official one. There's like so much AI trailers and so much stuff out there that's kind of trash, and you don't know what's real and what's not. But this was the real one on Marvel's direct YouTube page. Yeah, there you go, Vamps. Doomsday tickets. So tickets went live this morning. That I'm gonna have to go for that, I think. And then we've got the new cut of Endgame coming, 17 extra minutes in a altered cut of Avengers Endgame that totally ties it more kind of into the storytelling direction of Doomsday and stuff. So presumably, I don't know if that's going to come to theaters or that's just going to come for home release. Hopefully Kaleidescape picks that up. I don't know if that will be a separate purchase. It doesn't really matter, I guess, if it is or not. Um, or if it ends up being like a special cut that gets added in. So we'll definitely be watching that here. But I might skip Spider-Man, might try to find the way to the theater for Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man and Doomsday are gonna be the only ones, only movies that would get us to the show. Man, the X-Men 97 was good this week. Yeah, the X-Men 97 this week, it was good, and they mashed up a lot. They mashed up almost a little bit too much story. Um, so if anybody is following the show and you haven't watched last week's episode, it's been several days. Spoiler alert. But Wolverine gets his adamantium back, which to me felt pretty quick. Like they didn't even really explore the concept of the bone claws and like his kind of mutant evolution with the adamantium gone. They just let's throw the adamantium back in. Maybe if this show could have been 12 or 15 episodes, they would have had a little bit more time to explore that and do a little bit more with it. So, but it got us to see Sabretooth and Maverick and Lady Deathstrike. It's amazing how they threw away a couple characters though. I was that kind of caught me by surprise that they kind of threw away Kane and even Maverick. They let him go. But putting the Brood together, I wish they would have done like a full Brood storyline. I think the Brood storyline really deserves its own thing. Brood, of course, very, very similar to like Xenomorphs from the Alien series, and harkens back to an 80s story. Trying to think what actual year that was. It would have been, yeah, like early 80s X-Men story where they encounter the Brood in space, and Wolverine gets infected, Storm gets infected actually, and they encounter the Brood a couple of other times. So they kind of mush together the original Brood storyline and then another one that followed it up in the late 80s as well, and kind of overlaid it into the adamantium thing. So it's fine, I guess, what they did. It was cool seeing very savage. That episode was definitely a little bloody and little violent. I was cringing. My littlest guy, we're on the edge. This is pretty violent. We're pretty violent on the edge, but we made it through nonetheless. So excited to see what they do with the rest of the episodes going forward. Srinsade would not miss the Odyssey. Yeah, I won't make it to the show for that. That's an R-rated one. That's not a family film. There's no way that I'm going like by myself, or of all the things that we could do on a date night, um, as well. If my wife and I going out, like going to the movies, isn't on that list. I don't think it would have to be something really really special or interesting or unique or something, because we already have so much interaction around movies and home theater and stuff that on our nights out we're gonna go do something else with the time. So, and so many comments. I'm trying to keep up with stuff here. Mortal Kombat was okay. Talking about other movies. Um, yeah, Mandalorian Grogu in pre-order on Kaleidescape. Um, I haven't seen a pre-order for Masters of the Universe either, but I did see a confirmation that Masters of the Universe digital release is tomorrow. So both of those are the two that I'm hoping to watch this week. Hopefully scheduled viewing tomorrow night for Mandalorian, and then hopefully we'll also be able to get Masters of the Universe in by the weekend. We can kind of talk about some of those next week, or have hopefully watch them both uh, by the time we get there. What's the other comment here? Yeah, Supergirl comes out. Yeah, yeah, bigger hopes for that. Bigger hopes for that than I think was realized. And again, the DC stuff starts to skew more adult. So my kids and family is more into Marvel, but I'd like to watch Supergirl at some point myself. But yeah, but we'll see. Didn't get a whole lot of seem to live up to its hype, or rather, not even hype, but live up to its potential very much based on what I had read uh, about it. Yeah, it's going to be a messed up duo day watching Dune Part 3 and Doomsday together. I'm behind on Dune, so I'm a sleeper on Dune. I've seen a lot of Dune demo scenes at shows and events, and played a variety of them in my own theater. Yeah, Red Tag, this is the one I was looking for. What about Dune 3 later this year? That definitely won't get me to the theater because I have yet to watch any of them. I haven't actually sat down and watched Dune 1 and 2. I need to see if those are what the rating is and the rationale behind the rating on those. If those would qualify as deep and interesting science fiction that would fly with as family movies that we could pick, um, then I think there's a higher likelihood or aptitude that I would be able to watch them. That was kind of one of the reasons I didn't put those on my list of movies to do when the family took the trip to Panama that I missed. I didn't go just because I tried to watch stuff that I knew was a little more definitively violent, adult, etc. That wouldn't be a family movie anytime soon, and Dune may fit that bill. So, Manny, what phone are you talking about with the fan service? X Men '97. I was a diehard comic book fan, have been my whole life, but a diehard X-Men fan. I read everything. Like fifth grade, I picked up I think my first comic books. Um, or no, before that, sorry. Like talking like third grade, fourth grade. I had my first comic books, which was GI Joe. I was big into GI Joe, Transformers, all the toy lines and stuff like that. And I happened upon a GI Joe comic book, and so I was reading that from like issue 43. I'll never forget it. The picture, the one with Storm Shadow, he's got his sword up, and there's a silhouette with a question mark on it, like he's gonna slice the kid. Um, Yeah, G.I. Joe 43. So I was reading that, and that kind of got me into the idea of what a comic book was and checking it out. And then we moved, well, we moved cities, not super far, but we moved house to house. And then on the corner, um, no, it might have actually, it might have been back at the same bookstore. X-Men 229. That was the first like Marvel comic X-Men issue that I picked up. That might have been from the 7-Eleven after we had moved, or from the bookstore before we moved. But right in that realm. I was like 9 years old or something, 8 years old, give or take. 7 maybe? I don't know. Yeah, X-Men 229. I read it. That was after just this big X-Men event had just happened. Like Chris Claremont, Mark Silvestri, and whatnot. And the issue made no sense on its own, but these characters were really cool to me. And so we hit that 7-Eleven some more because right by the house, we'd stop in there, convenience store, and I picked up some Avengers, I picked up Spider-Man, like, I had my first real introduction to all these characters, and some DC stuff, I think, as well, but the Marvel stuff really got me, and but a amongst everything that I was reading, like X-Men was the cream. X-Men was the one that really had me interested. It was right after they gone to the Australian outback, period. You got Mark Silvestri, amazing, amazing artist, penciler. And then after that, Jim Lee came along and X-Men was just like it was the top of the comic heap at that time. And I was along along for that ride for a long time. So there's so much like little hits, that when you know the stories, because I've read those books umpteen times, right? That whole run of X-Men, I've read it I don't know how many times. I'm reading it again with my son now, actually. Um, it's like, oh, that moment, that little moment, those couple frames of animation, like, that was directly out of issue, like, 238, right? It's just it hits so hard, the nostalgia thing, so, yeah. But the Doomsday trailer, I'm gonna watch it with the family tonight. Um, it's kind of interesting. I like that, like, Doom is getting set up as this ultimate villain. Stakes are high. Thor is in there. Steve Rogers is back. There's a lot of rumors about, like, an alternate reality, um, evil Steve Rogers, which kind of harkens back to a more contemporary Captain America story that most people don't think is very good. But the shot in the trailer, I don't wanna be spoilery, but not too spoilery, didn't indicate an evil Steve Rogers. It indicated a core good Steve Rogers, which I love because Captain America is one of my absolute favorites, and I think he's one of the characters that they have done the best, consistently done the best through the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. Um, and I think they made a great casting for it, and they did the character some due justice in all the movies and whatnot. So I'm excited. Getting Doctor Doom some respect, elevating the Fantastic Four, bringing all these characters together, reset the whole universe, and then set us up for some really good movies. A sequence of more good movies after that. I'd appreciate it. Did you decide if you're coming to Audio Vice Live? Not entirely. I guess I could say I haven't booked it yet, so probably by process of of not having done it yet, I'm probably not going to end up making it. There's reasons I want to go. There's reasons that I don't want to go. Um, but yeah, I need to decide fairly quickly here and figure it out. It might already even be prohibitive to grab a flight and make it worthwhile. My understanding is that He-Man is out on Wednesday. Oh, instead of normal Tuesday releases. Oh, I thought maybe it was the 22nd. I saw in the press release, or on the news article link that I um, had found. Let's see, Masters of the Universe digital release, which conceivably should coincide. Oh yeah, you're right. Wednesday, July 22nd. I think it's going to Amazon. Yeah, Prime Video streaming date. You can watch the full movie starting Wednesday, July 22nd, less than 2 months after its theatrical debut. So I hope that coincides. Purchase. I hope that coincides with the ability to have it drop on Kaleidescape and buy it as well, not just an Amazon Prime exclusive. So this says available for digital purchase starting Tuesday, July 21st. So maybe Apple TV, Fandango at home, Google Play. So that should mean Kaleidescape gets it as well. Is He-Man even good? I don't know. I've seen mixed things about that as well. I'll watch it for the nostalgia and the fan service potentially, and hope that they don't, uh, piss all over it. My good memories of these cool things. Yeah, Dune is a top movie for watching demo material. Oh yeah, for sure. Shakes the house. Yep, I've done plenty of Dune demos from 1 and 2. Um, are you a Focal dealer? Yes, I can. I love Focal. I use Focal. I highly recommend Focal. Focal and Per Listen are the two um, lines that I talk with people the most about. So if you're interested in talking some Focal, you can reach out to me. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Reach out, email, webpage, etc. Happy to talk through any of that offline. Where my comments go? Did you see Michael? Nope, not yet. Not yet. I don't know if I'll end up watching that or not. Doom ain't better than Thanos. You better be powerful. Yeah, we'll see. I hope they do him right. I just want to see Doom killing everyone. Yeah, so they can recast and bring all the main characters back again. You're a Perlisten dealer? Yes, I am signed up with. I have been signed up with Perlisten for a little while now. All the models. I have all the models and stuff on the webpage, and I've almost done a couple of Perlisten projects with folks, but things just went in different directions or didn't work out so far. So there's a lot I like about their product line. Um, Sorry, just looking something up here. Oh, yeah, this. Are you able to source the Focal Hecla? Yeah, this is their new all-in-one speaker system, basically like soundbar solution. I haven't looked into it yet. I think I should be able to though. Yeah, we can follow up offline. Oh man, talking about Focal. Yeah, let me get a web share up because there's a couple things that we're gonna end up looking at here. I did have it on the plan to kind of follow up on the current state of the Strato K stuff and all that. And I'm sorry, much to everybody's chagrin, I did not get a video out last week about the um, state of the this week in Kaleidescape. I tried the soccer games stuff going on. I just didn't get it done. What am I looking for? The Diva Alta. So I was talking with somebody, and I want to actually talk about this as a I want to talk about this concept, maybe more broadly. Maybe this will be a topic for next week. Although I was still chatting with Chris Deering about coming on, and we haven't followed up to pick a date and time to do that because I still want to get him and maybe Sammy on together and talk about the Kaleidescape stuff and get their opinions and so on. Um, yeah, we'll talk some more about that in just a second. Let me get this up here. This bad boy, holy cow! I just discovered this that they pushed the envelope again. Um, Here, I'm gonna start a comment. Actually, let's come back to the. Oh yeah, God Emperor Doom. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, that Secret Wars story was really good. I hope they do some stuff with that. All right, let me come back to a couple of these comments. I just want to share a little anecdote on this. So I was talking with somebody. Yeah, I know Focal is being picky with the Hecla. Yeah, that's a good question. I would have to look. Honestly, I would have to look. I haven't looked it up yet. I knew that product was coming. So I know some of the newer stuff, like these guys specifically, are very restricted in terms of being able to sell them. Like you have to be blessed to do it. You have to have showroom capabilities and whatnot. But man, I've been following the Diva line from the beginning. Was it a year ago? 2 years ago, I think, or maybe a year and a half ago. Florida Audio Expo that I was at, I think was the debut of the regular Diva. Then the regular Diva, yeah. Then they announced the Meza at last year's Audio Device Live. Now this is brand new. I think it actually isn't even out yet. I think it comes out this fall. Um, the Alta Utopia. They just keep piling on, man, to this line. I freaking love this. I'll probably see and hear the Alta. Okay, now I'm gonna want to come. Now I want to go because I want to see the speaker and take a picture with it. Man. So I was talking with a client, a enthusiast friend, that I had helped to do a couple different things in his home theater space. He had introduced Kaleidescape. working with me. He had actually upgraded, I think, to some Anthem stuff working with me, and I can't sell Anthem, but I did the session with him to help him learn Arc Genesis and get it calibrated and stuff like that. So we've been chatting about a few things. He's moving, and he's got a chance to set up a new home theater setup. And so we've been talking about some things, talking about some per listen speakers and stuff like that. And as we were talking Saturday night, actually, yeah, Saturday night. I think it was while we were watching. We ended up watching the game late. I think it was we were watching the soccer game while I was on my computer doing a bunch of stuff, and we were texting most of the game on the side. And I'm like, well, you know what? Like, because the problem was anyway. Long story short of it, the challenge was very challenging living room, trying to do surround sound, trying to put more speakers in the ceiling, and it's like, man, you know what? It's going to sound wacky, but for your space, I would almost recommend doing what I did in my living room, two channel. And, so as I was talking about, like, why I like my living room as 2 channel and some impressions and demos and stuff I've given, it's like, like and I can say this because, like, if we ever move and we lose the theater, we have to downsize, I would try my best to implement a full-blown high-end audio video system, try to get to a 115-inch TV if possible, if not, certainly a 98. But these Divas, man, these Divas would be the speaker they would be the audio system that I would go after. No big push that I would have had to have Atmos or had to have surround. I would be happy to live with a pair of these as my audio system. Be nice to have a little bit of subwoofer potentially, but as the Divas have gotten bigger, maybe less of a need for a subwoofer if they're providing enough of the low end. But I can see these speakers living in my home, a downsized home or something like that in the future. And so as I was talking to him, I wanted to grab a link to send to to this to show like kind of how mentally committed I am to the idea that like a two-channel living room as an entire system is um is amazing. And I love what I've done in my living room, and I don't Jones for anything else. Even if I didn't have the theater, like the room is too challenging. There's no side surrounds, there's no rear surrounds. Having Atmos without surrounds is unbalanced. There's no good place for a center channel, and the Phantom Center works so good. And I want to do this as a full topic maybe next week, so I don't want to go too far into this. But anyway, I pulled it up. I was getting a link for the Divas, and then I saw it like, holy cow! They made an even bigger one. They just keep making them bigger. So they started again with the why is this not loading? Yeah, they started with this one. Awesome. They upped it to this guy. Awesome. Now we have even a fuller size four-way active. So this thing it has everything, right? Amplifier processing plus the speakers built into the chassis, all in one unit, the simplest audio system that you can get, amazing app connectivity for calibration, setup, management, and all of that. But man, yeah, what's the MSRP? 210 grand. The Alta, I think, but based on my research, 210 grand. And but wow, man, I'd be trading my entire room um for these speakers in a downsize, but it's like, you know what? It's compromise that I'd be inclined to make. So yeah, they're geared for music. I think they would do just fine for home theater though. I don't think so. I mean, I use these for home theater. These Utopias are so good. The ones that I have here. Focal is great for theater. How's it for music? Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed the other comment. Yeah, they're geared for music, but I think they equally apply. Like these are great home theater speakers. They're great music speakers, etc. Um, sorry for randomly asking about Heckler. Dealers around me can't sell in Ohio. I'll have to look offline for sure. Um, but man, I'm just floored by this thing. So it's huge. It's impressive. It has all the latest Focal tech, 600 watts of power in one speaker. I presume that spec is. Um, yeah, three-way active bass reflex, all the good things. Frequency response minus 3 dB down to 23 hertz. And then there you go. You've got a 280 watt low frequency amplifier, was high frequency, mid bass, all, and then low frequency. 4 different amplifier sections for 4 different driver sections. HDMI, ER, CEC, all the stuff that you would need. I really do think that they should put a subwoofer output on these though, with some kind of a crossover that can be managed, just so that in a 2.1 or 2.2 channel home theater setup, imagine these with like a couple of SB17s or something like that, or some per listens sitting next to them, just passing off everything from like whatever, even 40 hertz or something down, 50, 60 hertz down. But man, yeah, I love these. I love the brand. I love the quality, so much about it. So, and this is the new pinnacle of that line. It's insane. Yeah. No, no, no. That's total. That's total. 2K 210 for the pair. I believe it was for the pair. Hopefully it would be for the pair. That would change the calculus for me if that was each. Um, yeah, yeah, there you go. Same idea. Divas would probably be pretty awesome. Couple of SB17s with them. And you got a full audio system. Yeah. Yeah, and I say that there's not other options as well. Sonus Farber, etc. I love the Stradivari. That's another one that I've seen at Audio Device Live the last couple of years with like the guitar wire or whatever strung in front of the drivers. That is a classy speaker. That is a classy speaker. I really like the looks of it. Sounds great too when the times that I've demoed it. But if I were to stick in brand, man, this is what I would be jonesing over. Yeah, Joe has them. Yep, dedicated room doubles for hi-fi. He's got the Focal Electras. That's what I started with. The first incarnation of this theater had 10 uh, the 1038. Yeah, 1038, or is that, yeah, the BE towers. Loved them. That's what led me to go stick with Focal architecturally, because the 1000 series matched those speakers so well, and then being able to get to the Utopia level was yet another upgrade. Just big speakers, big sound, no substitute for it, and man, um, just just pretty sweet. So, again, my future, I could see my future living room in a downsized home somewhere, I don't know, looking over the sand dunes of northern Michigan or Grand Traverse Bay or something. Um, wherever life takes us, I don't know. 115-inch TV, a couple of these boys, keep my gaming PC in there, Kaleidescape. Yeah, what amp would you drive them with? Yeah, you don't need it. So that's the thing. You don't need an amp. They have the amps built in. They're 600 watt in each speaker with individual amplifiers for each individual section, driver section of the speaker. So one, two, three, and then there's radiators or lower frequency woofers. I think on both sides, two or four of them. I think there's four, two on each side. Those are all powered by these different amplifier sections. So they link together. You just run eARC or Toslink out into these guys, and then yeah, and then they have like an RJ45 speaker link. So they plug them both in and good to go. Yeah, so sweet, so sweet. um, yeah, amps built in. Yep. Seismic Frog. What led me to Wilson fronts? Big sound acre. Yeah, I'm really convinced. This is what I was talking about with the client on Saturday. It's like, man, there's no bigger speaker, bigger sound, and it's like, dude, we're talking about trying to put some surround speakers in the ceiling and looking at like the Perlison X series and mixing some things and compromising some things. And there's going to be a console. He wants to get to like a 98-inch TV. Where's the center going to go? If it's X series, they're going on the walls. The center going to go up above the TV. Otherwise, it's going to have to go like above the console, but below the television, sandwiched in. Now all of that sound is going to be bouncing off the front of the table there, the console there that's in front. I'm like, man, if it were me, this is what I did. I would put two S7Is, two Perlison S7Is, and still keep a couple of subwoofers for the home theater application, which we were talking like he had some wife acceptance factor and stuff to work around, but it's like a couple of SB3000s, two Perlison S7Is, get rid of the whole surround sound thing, get rid of the whole Atmos thing. They do a lot of music in there as well. Like, dude, you'd love it. You'd love it. The system will be so simple. Get rid of the AVM 70, get rid of the big multi-channel amplifier, switch over to like an STR integrated amp, two-channel integrated amp with crossovers, Arc Genesis, and subwoofer management, bass management. Like, man, like you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. And so, yeah, we'll see where it ends up going, but Yeah, anyway, I was floored. When I pulled it up to send a note over, it's like, wow, so impressive. Yeah. Always been attracted to the Utopia. I personally have always been attracted to the Utopia speakers, and then but in this form factor, the all-in-one electronics, processing, amplifiers, built in, stunning, performance is insane, and, yeah, I I thought that was really cool. So there were a couple of things. All right, let's talk some Kaleidescape. We're already at the top of the hour. There were questions about that. Let me swap back here. Oh, sorry. Yep, sorry. Yeah, we should mention this. Any other Michigan folks, or maybe like Ohio, Northern Ohio as well, looking for calibration? Let me know. Let me know. We're trying to get Sammy Prescott Jr. out here. Joe is in, and so if we can get another stop or two for him, I need to post this to the channel and whatnot. But if anybody, uh, public service announcement, first time. Anybody in the Midwestish area, Michigan, Northern Ohio, looking for video calibration services, trying to get Sammy Prescott booked for a tour, coming through. Yeah, heard Kaleidescape started shipping this past Wednesday. Yes, yes. I had one order, back order of mine fulfilled on Wednesday. So I have not seen movement in the next order of mine in the list of a number of them that are logged for back order. So I was hoping to maybe see some more movement today. My understanding is that the Strato K is under huge demand. New orders placed for the Strato K now will may not even fulfill for like 4 to 6 weeks, is I think what was said on the owners forum today. So they're trying, man. They're trying. They're ramping up production, and they're being completely fair with the distribution and the fulfillment. You get an order, a paid order, secures a place in line, and they will just fulfill the orders all the way down the line. So no funny business, no hopefully like dealers being able to buy up inventories and whatnot. Real customer orders being prioritized in order, and so it goes. So the order that I had fulfilled on Wednesday was placed on June 27th, and then my next order was booked, on July 1st. That has not fulfilled yet. I'm really hoping to see that one move soon. So I'm not sure if there's small batches, bigger batches, onesie twosies coming off that they're handling, but that's kind of what's going on there. So if anybody watching is interested in procuring, having a Strato K unit, the only and best thing that you can do is secure a paid order and get in line. The sooner you get an order secured, the faster you may stand to get it. At some point in time, they'll fulfill demand and those will be in stock and everything. So this, will ultimately in the long run um, be a temporary deal, but it is what it is for now. And then this is the other question that came up. I wanted to hit too, part and parcel of this. Not sure if you can discuss this on the stream, but I'm interested in Strand. Okay, sweet. Let me be your guy, please. Let me help you out. Let me be your guy. Just wondering if you offer any upgrade program. Currently have an E and wanted to upgrade to the Strato K. So what I can say is Kaleidescape does not have any upgrade program. There is no formal program where they will take items and or prior players or hardware and stuff like that in uh, towards a Strato K or whatnot. Um, Nor am I even aware of any dealers necessarily doing that because I doubt many dealers want to end up with a lot of used inventory that they have to turn around and sell, as well. So I am not doing that either. So I'm not specifically taking in used hardware. I'm not taking in upgrades. What I have been doing, I've been spending a lot of my time doing this actually, um, is I've been kind of bending over backwards to try to match up people that have hardware that want to um, try to move it on in order to use those proceeds to make their way into a Strato K upgrade. And so, because I have a lot of people contacting me, I have people contacting me or a lot of existing customers as well that wanted to make the upgrade. So I was trying to facilitate their pathway. And then I have other people contacting me that are shopping and they can't afford the K, it's too much. They can't afford the K player, it's too much. They want to get into Kaleidescape for the ecosystem, so they're looking for deals, opportunities, etc., to grab a nicely used E or V or whatever they can get their hands on to enter into the ecosystem. And so I don't even know how many times I've done this now. It's probably we're probably into several, I think, at this point, where I've worked on somebody's behalf of trying to connect people to people. In one case, I specifically actually helped facilitate the transaction and stuff like that. I would rather not do that every time. There's payment fees and other things and stuff, and I'm not. I've yet to take a commission for any of this. I'm just asking, of course, that when people, if I can connect somebody to somebody that wants to upgrade, please buy your K from me. Um, and I'm not. I haven't been doing consignment or commission or anything about that. So I have a list of people that I know have hardware that they would like to unload, and as I get contacts of people looking, I try to match them up and stuff as best I can. So knock on wood, there hasn't been a failure mode doing this yet. Everybody's been really cool, um, easy to work with, working with each other. I've been involved as people talk, make the connection and then kind of make a recommendation about maybe where I think where the price is, stuff like that, and then let them kind of sort it out. Give my advice. I recommend a number of things. Use PayPal or something. Do the goods and services. So the buyer's got some protection. The shipper should always mail insured so that the seller has some protection, etc. And it's been working out well. Um, so the that's what I can offer. So if you want, again, Mars, I think it was, reach out to me. Happy to talk. We can talk offline, see what's going on. Right now, I have more inventory. I don't have inventory, but I have a larger quantity of people, uh, again, with items to looking to sell than I do people looking for them. So, and I think right now it's more ease stacked up. I just helped folks connect on a V just over the weekend, actually, or just yesterday. I think that deal was finalized. But again, I'm just trying to do it out of the um, try to help folks out and whatnot. So yeah, Kscape time. Let's talk some Kscape. Sorry, just looking for comments. Yeah, what was the order? What was the order date that shipped? 627. 627. And my next logged order was dated 7/1. Vamps probably buy Strato K, and I'm digging it. So I'm still, and I continue to watch as well. The Kscape owners forum is the place. There's a big long thread all about people's Kaleidescape experience, and every couple of days there's a new post. Somebody there got my K, and it looks, it's way better. It looks way better. Well, it's worth it, etc. So yeah, crazy deals from people upgrading. There's definitely been a supply demand uh, business market effect in effect. So because there has been more supply of used units than normal relative to demand, so the prices have come down pretty good. Um, Lately, we've seen individual Strato C's go as low as about $1,000 or approaching $1,000. We've seen Strato E's now. Actually, there was one listed, I think, on the owners forum today for like 1750. Strato V's getting into the low twos, etc. So, um, yeah, Maddie. Yeah, I think we know when that first. Yeah, so Maddie was one of the beneficiaries of the market curve. I helped him get connected with somebody. He picked up his V. Yeah, looking for a used server. Everybody, so is everybody else. That's almost impossible. Almost impossible. Although I do have a line. I talked to somebody today that has an E in an 8 terabyte SSD that he'd be willing to let go because he's thinking he's going to want bigger storage when he gets it there. Yeah, Red Techie. Yep, yeah, he's another one that I helped out. Worked out great. Helped out Maddie here. Um, Yeah, well, I'll work with this. Oh, here we go. Mike Cobb from Kaleidescape. Welcome, sir. Just saw the stream. Sorry to miss so much. That's fine. We'll still be hanging out for a little while longer. We're just about to talk. We're talking some more Kaleidescape at the end of the show here. We were talking some World Cup. We're talking about the mystical experience that I had with my wife last Friday. Um, Talking some X-Men 97 and excitement for some of the new movies and things that are coming this year. Talking a little some Focal news, and then I wanted to kind of wrap up talking about some Kaleidescape since it remains the hot topic. I basically spend most of my time, Techthusiasm time, talking Kaleidescape with folks over these last weeks, and it's not slowing down. Um, Seismic Frog, had I just not done the altitude CI, would be interested in upgrade. Coffers need refilling. Yep, I get that. Love the altitude CI as well. I am a Trinoff dealer if anybody is looking for those. I swapped myself this room over to Trinoff just a little bit ago. Yeah. All right, Mike. I'm going to feed you orders, and I want you to tell everybody when they're going to ship. That's what everybody wants to know. But no, I'm not going to do that. That's impossible. Yeah, a lot of inquiry about shipping dates and people wanting updates on their orders and whatnot. And it's like we just can't predict. There's no way to get a direct no way to get a complete prediction. You get in line. That's the best thing to do is just get in line. Get in line, hurry up and wait is the other way to say it, I guess. Hurry up and wait. And set your expectations low, and you'll be delightfully surprised when it delivers. Yeah, Joe has one too. Consider moving my Strato E if anyone's interested. Yeah, it seems to be more Strato E's just available at the moment. If anybody's looking for hardware, great deal, etc., take advantage of the market curve, let me know. I can connect you. We got people right here, and I can connect you to others as well. So we have been seeing a steady stream of 4K cinematic updates coming to the store. Let me make sure to click off some of these so we can kind of see everything. The one thing that's different, I think, now is that, yeah, it doesn't show. I like the movie store online here. If we go to all movies, we sort by date added to the store. It doesn't put the new cinematic releases back to the front of the list, and that would be helpful. I always relied on that to know if like something was updated or there was a 4K update or whatnot. But but it doesn't put the 4K cinematics up to the front of the list. So, but I'm thinking over the last few days, what have I updated? It's been Captain America. All the Captain Americas, I think now are in 4K cinematic. I'm going to draw a blank. There's a couple of other disparate movies as well. Back to the Future 1 and 2 were the latest ones that hit in 4K cinematic upgrade. So I presume we'll get number 3 also coming soon. So new movies keep hitting. Yeah, here's Mando coming out again. Hopefully, oh yeah, nice release date, July 21st. There you go, committed date there. Still no Masters of the Universe, so I'm still hoping we get that one. We get that one this week. TV as well. I think we touched on this last week. What was it? Yeah, Mad Men. Boom. 4K cinematic. Madison, Marshalls. Yeah, all those westerns. That's what we were talking last week. Everybody likes the western shows nowadays. That's the genre, the genre of choice. But definitely lots going on in the store. And I'm continuing to download personally. I'm continuing to download 4K Dolby Vision cinematic. I think that's the order, or I think that's been my preference, and that's what I'm going to stick to. If a movie is only in 4K cinematic HDR10, I'll do that, but I'm going to prefer Dolby Vision. Even though the theater is not Dolby Vision capable, I'm going to rely on the on-the-fly DV to HDR10 conversion, and for the theater, because it will give me native Dolby Vision to the living room. And if I go with 4K cinematic HDR10 and those movies happen to be in 444, the theater can take that chain, the Mad VR, etc., can take that signal and pass it through, but it will disable, as I understand it, it will disable a significant amount of processing in the television upstairs. And so I don't want that to happen. So I want to stick to the 422, and by sticking with the Dolby Vision, we stick to 422. So that's been my analysis. And I did put out the video on, was it Thursday last week? So, like the top 5 things that I think are must knows about the Strato K, talking about the fact that 4K cinematic is the real story, talking about things to know about 4K cinematic DV versus HDR10, um, things to know about the UI thing, the UI being in 4K again, things to know about timing and ordering and back ordering and stuff like that. And why am I drawing a blank on the why am I drawing a blank on the third thing to know? I can't even remember what the third thing to know was, or let me look at my list here. Yeah, yeah, 4K cinematic is a real story. Dolby Vision versus HDR. Oh, HDMI 2.0, because that's the other big thing that I get a lot of questions, and I've been talking with folks about is the fact that I think some people were rightfully scared about their, do I need HDMI 2.1? Is my video chain not support this stuff really well? What's the limitation or whatnot? And the reality is, like, an HDMI 2.0 chain is pretty great for supporting the Strato K and making use of the Strato K. Sren, I bet once the shows are over in August, the lead times will go up. Yeah, I mean, expect a splash everywhere, right? M Wave, potentially. Yeah, I have to check back in on M Wave. M Wave, Audio Device Live, Cedia. It's only going to build. It's only going to build up more interest. Um, Maddie, can we talk about any bundles or deals coming to Kaleidescape movies? So right now, well, sales change tomorrow, right? So special pricing oftentimes changes on Tuesdays, so you can get an idea here, like what 4K cinematic films are on sale. Oh, I'm actually logged in. Let me log out. Give me 1 second here. Let me pop off here. Let me sign out so we can actually see the prices. Bring this right back up. So we go back to special pricing, video, 4K cinematic. Yeah, there we go. So, yep, Captain America. So those were brand new. Oh, was it Hunger Games? Yeah, I'm trying to think what else it was that I recently downloaded. I think it was Hunger Games. There's Oppenheimer, $10. A lot of $10 sales going on here. I did notice as well, since the last time I had looked. Let me take the cinematic tag off of here so they show up. There are some new content sets that have hit. Also, not a lot of sales this specific week. I feel like content sets tend to go on sale in bigger numbers around bigger sales times, Christmas, Black Friday, stuff like that. But got the Stanley Kubrick collection, the whole Harry Potter 11 films. Um, Looks like, yeah, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings have been bundled together. So there are different bundles of some movies, because a little while back, where is it? Yeah, Star Wars got kind of rebundled. So you can get the whole Star Wars thing, or you can get the individual trilogies if you want. So I think this is a good idea. So like Illumination, all 7 movies, or just the Minions. So it looked like what they were kind of doing with the content sets is actually giving some flexibility of choice, like how much of the series or how much of this um, item do you are you looking for? Do you want them all? Do you want just a subset, etc.? But I think even like Oceans, Hangover, some of these are new. There's been a lot of newer ones put in, because I think the last time I did a this week in the store video, I want to say like Star Wars or Super Mario like was the latest of the content sets. So cool that they're bundling, right, more of these together in different ways. So to answer Maddie's question, yeah, wish list them, and have some patience to keep an eye out for when they go on sale. The best way to buy movies, the most advantaged way to buy movies promotionally, I guess to say, aside from disc to digital, if it's a studio that does disc to digital very well in terms of its D2D pricing, is to catch the content set on sale. That's your best bet. Which even still, I mean, if you just want them, the content set is still the better way to buy, but you can't beat, fundamentally, right? You can't beat a content set on sale. You're going to get movies for even $5 a piece, $6 a piece, $8 a piece for some of these movie sets and stuff like that. So that's what you want to be looking for. Like, here you go, 3 movie set from $45 on sale, $14.99, $5 a movie. cheaper by the dozen, 2 movies, $5 each. It's about the best you can do. Like these Harry Potter collections, $100, this will get down quite a lot when it goes on to deeper discount. The one that I wanted to buy, I need to buy for myself is Rocky because I have an incomplete set of I have an incomplete set of Rocky. I don't have all the 4Ks. Two of them, I don't have 4K. I have HD, and one of them is like I think it's like a mixed rights that I need to get sorted out. So I was hoping to grab this content set on more of a discount than that. I might just grab it. I might hold out. I'm not sure, but for my collection, that's one of the ones that one of the ones that I'm watching for. Yeah, I hope all these new users are doing just to digital. I presume so. It's definitely something that I continue to talk about with folks that are evaluating the platform or whatever. Here you go. So here's your notice. Mike Cobbs. They're shipping as soon as they come in the door from the factory. Yep. So kind of onesie twosies. Um, Jeremy said right now the demand is super high. So the fastest way to get the order is to get an order placed. Yeah, and then it means like fully paid, secured, and logged in the system. And as a dealer, with me taking orders, I make sure that you're in line. The order is paid, fully locked, no invoicing later and other things like that. That would create a delay in your place in line. So as soon as if you come to me, I secure an order for you, you pay me, I pay them, and you're set. So yeah, that's the order we're shipping. And then from there, you hurry up and wait. Wait it out. I wish I had the foresight, although I probably wouldn't have let me do it anyway. I wish I had the foresight to buy like 100 or something in the first 50 or something units in the first stock. But I wouldn't have predicted quite the demand. I could have envisioned it in my mind just because it has been such an exciting release and news and stuff to me. But yeah, the foresight of baking up a bunch of inventory would have been didn't have it at the time. Yeah, Joe and I, we've been talking about Joe he's the guy, he got the NZ800. Was it 2 weekends ago now? Or a week ago Sunday. We dropped his NZ800 in. Yeah, flip-flopped on my 4K cinematic strategy. Yeah, theater doesn't support DV, but living room does. Decided on 4K and 4K cinematic with Dolby Vision is my standard. I think the 12-bit as well is a boon. Oh, Mike, any chance K will slightly modify the HDR icon to signify when a title is 444? Oh, yeah, I could say this as well since we have Mike here. Cool thing would be really nice to be able to have the filter in the store be not just 4K cinematic, but differentiate 4K cinematic Dolby Vision, HDR10, and SDR. It'd be a lot to pick from in the filter list, but I think that would be really good in terms of hunting things down and finding stuff. SWH Meta order wasn't in till July 10th. Yeah, you may have a ways to go for sure. Like I said, my next order to process was placed on July 1st. So, and it's been now last Wednesday since my order from June 27th processed. Mandalorian and Grogu, yeah, nice 120 GB download. Nice. Lots of great data. High-end data, show all formats. Yeah, 120 GB, Dolby Vision. We'll be watching. We still need the point release hopefully to come out as well for the new KOS version to go along with the DV HDR10 output. Joe saying thought was Dolby Vision 12-bit color depth that is preserved in the conversion HDR10 is more important than 444 chroma. That's what I'm thinking as well. But the compatibility is the big thing for me. Only 150 more movies to download in my queue. Wait, still? Wow, you're downloading that many? I've already completed my 4K cinematic download sequencing. So anything that was on my server that's available in 4K cinematic has now been replaced with the 4K cinematic copy. And I'm always going to forget this, but for demo purposes, I think I kept Top Gun, Minecraft, and Super Mario Galaxy also in regular 4K Dolby Vision. So that if people come by and they want to see A/B demos and stuff. I need to keep some content available to do that, but I don't wanna waste a ton of space. I figure those 3 movies are a good choice. Um, Sigjaw is saying, "Easy way of seeing what's new in cinematic. Go to the home screen, go back one, and click the cinematic top banner." Yeah, Fifth Element and A Long Walk added today. Yeah, so we do this, we go here, click, and or wait, yeah, date added to the store. So, wait, those aren't coming to the top then. Easy way, home screen. Oh, wait, home screen. Oh, I see what you mean. Here we go. This where is it? Is this wait, this one. Okay, cool. Where does this take us to? The 4K cinematic. It's like a special filter or something. Oh, cool. All right, I'm gonna have to bookmark this. Oh, we got it. Yeah, it's already here then. Back to the Future 3. Okay, I didn't check earlier today, and I think I have Fifth Element downloaded as well. So I got 2 more movies to download, since this afternoon. Yeah, Kill Bill, that was another one that was just put out that people oh, Paddington, those were the ones that I had just downloaded. Wait, Fast and the Furious? I thought I had this maybe I didn't have it on my server. That's why I didn't notice that one pop up. I might have to look through this list a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, here, let me go back. We're gonna be wrapping up here pretty quick, but let me go back. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in just because I wanna see kinda give an idea about how this works and what I've been doing. So, come on, log in. Oop, error occurred. Let's do a refresh. There we go. Okay, let's bring this back up. Share. All right, so if I look at, yeah, like, what do we say? Okay, yeah, Back to the Future 3. So I can see here, already on the system, Back to the Future 3 Back to the Future Part 3 in 4K HDR10. So if we wanna do this, we do a download. Home will download this, and I download the 4K Cinematic Dolby Vision, click OK, and then that will kick off its download. And so you can click through here and see, yeah, already on the system, SD, 4K HDR10. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as well. 4K Dolby Vision. And it's good to see, like, there's a lot of parity. The Dolby Vision and the 4K HDR10s are all coming a lot at the same time. Um, like I know I own a lot of these movies, but I don't have them downloaded, right? So um, not downloaded to the system. Kill Bill, not on the system. I should download those. Those should be sitting on my server. Yeah, Fast and the Furious. I don't think I downloaded these. Yeah, not on the system. So that's why I didn't notice the update. But then what I've been doing is I wait for the download to finish, and then you go to the web UI of your local system in your setup, and then go through the list of yeah, let's do this. You go to your system, download, and then in here in the movie section of your local system, you can go in and say, "Hey, okay, Back to the Future." You hit the expansion, hit this box right here, select all the movies that you want to delete, go down, select versions, and then you click off the ones that you want to keep and leave the regular 4K versions and delete them. I believe that that's important as well. If you have like special scenes defined, scripts, you have your movies in collections, and your movie state is you always want to download the replacement copy before you delete the existing copy. Otherwise, you may lose some of like that kind of history, your system history of the movie. Yeah, Back to the Future Part 3. Yeah, so that's cool. It's already there. What other movies have you seen significant improvement on 4KC? So we haven't really watched that much because we've been watching all the soccer. Um, Everything I've demoed, it's been some noticeable improvement. I heard really good things about Rogue One, which is a bummer because we just watched that movie first time for my kids just a couple weeks ago. So we just barely missed watching it in 4K cinematic. Um, SWH Meta, when you buy those sets, do you still get the option of the format? If you mean the content sets, you get whatever the highest quality format, sorry, of the set is. So, and there's no differentiation between 4K and 4K cinematic. So if I look at like Lord of the Rings, if you buy this content set, it's in 4K, you're gonna get the 4K cinematic version of those movies. Let's say there's another one like the Lego movies, these are not in 4K cinematic yet. Um, if you bought this content set, you would get 4K, and if those movies get a 4K cinematic update, you would get that for free later on. Yeah, Hunger Games 5 movie bundle was a steal. Yep. Yeah, you caught the content set and you caught it on sale. It's perfect. Red Techie, waiting for the Ghostbusters content set. That's the one I really want right now. Nice. Oh god, I'd love this so much. Will we see Toho's Godzilla coming to Kscape? Yeah. I would I want like all whatever 20 some Godzilla movies. I would love to have them all in my Kaleidescape collection. That's one of the few things that I keep on my ripped media server, or on my media server, just because it's hard to procure those titles. A lot of them are held with Criterion, some are with Sony, but there's not. Let's just say Godzilla. Love Kaleidescape, but Godzilla is underserved in the Kaleidescape movie store. So this is all we got. We got the MonsterVerse stuff, of course, which is fine. Got the Matthew Broderick, whatever 1999 version, and we've got a couple of older ones. But Tokyo SOS isn't even in HD. That's SD. Yeah, I'd love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it to get all the Godzilla eras in here. -1, -0's coming. Yeah, I'd love for them to make that happen. I don't know what the limitation is. It's obviously got to be some rights holding thing. I know Criterion put the big Showa era collection out some years back. Um, some of the movies, some of the got older ones, like Godzilla original 1956, and I think one other Biolante, Godzilla versus Biolante or whatnot, has had a 4K release. Most of the stuff is in HD. Man, I'd buy them all. Buy them all day one. Give me a big old Godzilla content set. M1A1 Abrams 87. Yeah, last questions, please. We're sitting in the 90-minute mark. I gotta get upstairs. Family's waiting for dinner and hang out with and do some stuff with them tonight. Jeremy's Mad VR Core Mark II overkill for an LG G4. Now with a future use of a tri-laser projector like the Zigme Titan Max. Had a 1080p Lumigen for years, so I miss video processing. I mean, not if you miss the video processing. To me, the video processor is all about what would you do with it, and what does a Cord Mark II do on an LG G4 that an LG G4 wouldn't do on its own. Um, to be honest, I'd say not as much unless you really like. You would use like the stretching. If you'd use the vertical stretching, or in order to do some aspect ratio management, use more of your screen, the nonlinear stretch. I know folks that do that though. I have customers of mine, folks that really like that on their flat panels. I like Motion AI. I'd love to have Motion AI on my flat panel, but that would require buying the extreme model. I'm sure the processing and tone mapping and stuff of the Mad VR would exceed the capabilities of the TV, but some of these TVs are so good in their own right that, you know, but if you know that you're going to end up pushing that, you're going to move that Mark II forward, potentially to a projector or another system later, and you take advantage of it now and you have it for later if you do move it to a projector. I could see that as also, but it really, again, it depends. It depends, in my opinion, it depends most on what are the values that you're getting out of it. What are you going to apply it to do for you, and does that make it worth it, right? Because you're talking, a few grand, several grand for like a Core Mark II, and then if you buy the expansion pack as well, then that adds to the price. They have the subtitle optimization feature coming, which you don't really need subtitle relocation so much in on a flat panel because everything fits in the screen space anyway. But if you wanted to take advantage of like the color matching and stuff that the subtitle optimizer is going to do, that stuff's pretty cool. It makes the subtitles feel more natural, especially if you're a person that uses them a lot. I believe that runs on the core, but uh, with the Premium Plus pack. So And we could talk about more about this offline as well. I am a Mad VR dealer as well. I'm like a certified product specialist for them. So happy to chat some more of that offline. Okay, so for things like Kaleidescape movie bundles deals, they need to run promos during off sales season, like run promos when there aren't other sales like Black Friday going. Well, it does. Like every check every Tuesday, right? Every Tuesday things change. Whenever there's a new big release, look for an opportunity to buy similar movies and stuff. Like I can't guarantee anything. I'm not saying this based on knowledge, but just based on prior history. Spider-Man's coming out. I would expect that alongside with Spider-Man, either the theatrical release or the home release, you're probably going to see some Marvel Cinematic Universe available. Certainly Spider-Man films on sale. So, some things get timed like that. May the 4th is going to always be a great time to buy the Star Wars movies, and so on. And then, yeah, it just depends on the rest of the weekly stuff. Um, oh, Mike answered a question. I think I lost the question back further though. If I put up this answer, much cheaper level of geekiness than 95 customers want to know. Thread on the forum movie post. Oh, I think the request about like what titles are 444 and 422. I see. Yeah, that might be a little deep. That might be a little deep. But I would say it would be nice like if we clicked in here, right, and we go all the way into the formats, like show us some format details, technical details. I'd love that. And we did have a request. We were talking about this last week, I think last week's podcast, about more technical details on the pop-up overlay on the unit. Something that there was a bunch of support and desire for out of last week. Joe, he's committed. Couldn't help myself. Went back to every 4K HDR10 title, deleted them, and put the 4K DV in my queue. He's all in. Yeah, just want everything standard. Yeah, everything standard. So it took the time. I have been replacing my 4K HDR, which I was normally downloading, with 4K DV cinematic, but I have not gone and done a 4K DV replacement of the 4K HDR titles because there's no concern about those playing in limited display modes or processing modes on the TV. Spliffy, cool. I'm going to a little hangout with Youthman where we'll be shooting out 4K versus 4KC. We figured out best clips to compare. So, I mean, the ones that I've looked at, I really like that Minecraft, the beginning of chapter 2. I think the beginning of Mario Galaxy is a good one as well, where Rosalina gets attacked at her house on her like orbiting space thing. Even the beginning of Top Gun Maverick. The thing about going back and forth is if you want to keep your visual memory tight, you want to watch the very beginning of the film or just start playback, jump right to the beginning of chapter 2. You don't want to do a lot of searching. If you're doing a lot of searching, fast forwarding, seeking, scene jumping, stuff like that, you're I think going back and forth, you want to keep the time tight. So I've been doing these comparisons here as well. If anybody can reach Southeast Michigan, happy to demo this stuff off. Yeah, no, there's no unless you had two players, there's no side by side or split screen. And then if you even did that, you'd have to have like two projectors and displays of the same type and video chain next to each other. So comparisons are tough. They're tough to set up and arrange. I think Chris Deering is going to set up a thing like that as well. He had posted somewhere kind of showing off blind testing or showing off some of the differences. But at this point, I'm kind of like I know people are really interested still in the topic. Personally, I'm kind of like I'm over the idea of comparing these things because it's like it's just better. And whether it's on any given film, like is this film 5% better or 8% better or 20% better? Nothing's like 100% better or 50% better or whatnot. But there was some discussion about this on the owners forum as well. Like, what makes better worth it? Like, we spend money in this hobby, we optimize things, we constantly tweak things for incremental gains. And so to me, this is more of an incremental gain. But if it's like, I've seen people talking like, maybe it's 10%. People spend big money, bigger money than the Strato K in this hobby for what would be termed like a 10% increase, right, in the capability and performance of your system. And so now to get this just flat, like I'm sold and done, and like I don't need to justify anything else anymore. Like if it's available in this format, this is the format that I'm going to use, and This is gonna be it for a while. It took us 10 years or whatever to go from 4K, regular 4K as we know it, to this higher format, and so I'm reveling it. This is the time. If you're sitting on the fence, like, debating it and, splitting hairs and hashing percentages and stuff, like, man, I couldn't like, I'm already I'm committed. I just give me the higher fidelity. Put all this money into my systems and stuff like that. I wanna feed it with that higher fidelity, and the difference is there, whether it's whether percentages are debatable, but it's there, and if it's there at all, that's enough for me. Um, Red Techie, is there an automatic cleanup for the older version after an update? No, it's all yeah, it's manual. It's all manual. So you have to go in and delete. Yeah, and here you go. Mike's saying too. If you're downloading a 4K cinematic update to something you have in 4K, it's not automatic. This was done because we expected many people would be adding a Strato K. Yep. So then those folks may not want the other version compatible with their other players deleted. Um, but if you only have Strato Ks or only have a Strato K or multiple Strato Ks, then you can delete it. Again, just use the same process that we talked about. Queue up all your 4K cinematic downloads or as much as you have space to fill or to fit. Pull up this movie list, go through, and you click this little checkbox for all the ones that you have in multi-format. Zip all the way to the bottom. Click this select versions to delete. Check off the ones you want to keep, and then let it delete. Let it delete everything else. That's the easiest kind of manual way to do it. That's what I've been doing myself lately. Yeah, Joe, same thing. I've been doing this a lot. And if you delete the existing version before the new one is downloaded, it's fine. Collections. Oh, they are maintained fine. Interesting. Okay, maybe I was mistaken there. I thought you might lose some status, some movie status. Um, yeah, not sure about history and other metadata though. I thought you would lose movie status, including like collections, if you went the other way. So I've been careful about doing the consistency. Maybe they stay in collections, but you lose the watch history, and so on. Yeah, so that answers that. The update doesn't replace the lesser version. Regardless of whether you have lesser systems or not, it will not replace the existing version. So you have to delete the existing version manually. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, there's always a balance between adding additional options and keeping things simple enough to be usable. Trade-offs, man. Engineering has nothing but trade-offs. Maddie just got the bundle of Quiet Place movies. Cool. Yeah, Infrasonics. They're insane. Watch them all streaming before, not even close. Yeah, dynamic range, man. And those lossless audio tracks. Yeah, Abrams. Yes, I'd use the NLS feature. So that's huge. So I mean, that's a capability that you can get from the MadVR or Lumagen, et cetera. But I think actually is NLS vertical? Is that exclusive to MadVR? Does Lumagen stretch one way but not the other? I'm not entirely sure on that. But again, the more that you would use, that you would enjoy out of the video processor to make an impactful um, processing presence and stuff on your screen, the more anything, in my opinion, then becomes worth it. But again, if you want to talk about that offline, I can get you MadVR, MadVR dealer. Been running the NV Extreme in my theater for a long time, and really enjoy it. Maddie, will they ever update KOS to show the bundles? Update KOS to show the bundles and allow filtering from the home screen. It'd be nice to have more ordering and viewing options. I'm not sure if you can get to bundles content. I would think that you can get to content sets in the store on screen, but filtering on the home screen and more home screen control or presentation is definitely a feature that's been suggested. So, Lawless, will the 4K-C re-encode be like TV was for the V or more limited, where there'll be 1,000 4K-C titles in a year? Yeah, without mentioning specific targets, we're going to do a lot of them. Yep, I believe that 100%. I mean, the other thing too, I think I mentioned this last week, but I didn't have the screen shared. If I go to my movie updates, right, this popped up in here, which actually, I wish I could make this go away. Suggestion for Mike. These movies I have downloaded to my system in 4K HDR10, and these movies received not a 4K cinematic. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a bad example. That one actually did. Okay, hold on. Let's go Gladiator. So these movies received a 4K Dolby Vision update. I already have the 4K HDR10 version, but they show up in my They show up in my movie updates. Look at all these movies, right? I don't even know how many that is. It'd be boring to try to count it. Dozens, dozens. Is that close to 100? Maybe at least dozens, more than 50, I think. I would like these out of here though. If anybody knows, or Mike, if you know, how do you dump an update off of your, because I don't want to delete it, right? That's not it. But I don't want to take this update. I refuse to take this update. And I want this update off of my update history because I'm not going to update Dolby Vision. I'm not going to update these movies from HDR10 to Dolby Vision. And I wish I could get them off this list. I wish the 4K cinematic items showed up here in 4K cinematic. That would be something telling me, hey, you want to update this movie to 4K cinematic, but I don't want to update this movie to just from regular 4K HDR10 to Dolby Vision. So if there's a way to clear this out, but going back to the question of how many 4K cinematic movies will there be, I'm just going to go ahead and assume that a big reason that a lot of these movies got Dolby Vision updates is because we're preparing for 4K cinematic versions to come. And I would agree with this sentiment. And I would certainly hope that it's the case as well. There's going to be a lot, a regular stream, hopefully, of movies coming. Yeah, Abrams sounds good. Yeah, hit me through the webpage or Jeremy at techthusiasm.net. We can talk offline. And to the other folks as well, I think that we're asking about the focal. I can check in on that separately also. Yeah, okay, here. I would expect collection membership to be lost if you delete the existing version before downloading the new one. Yeah, I recommend downloading the new one first. I think that was mentioned. You probably even posted it, Mike. It might have been mentioned on the owners forum. Um, might have been mentioned on the owners forum that was kind of the recommended way to do it. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, unless there's another version on the system. Yeah, like maybe the HD version for the extras or whatnot. Here's an interesting question, Mike. Actually, I'm curious to know this because I've been debating this myself. When I go here, so let's actually we can just look right here at 1917. So I have 1917 downloaded. Let's look at 1917. 1917 has extras, right? Special features. Special features are in HD. I've always wondered this, right? And the HD download, the whole full HD download package is 43 gigabytes. That's for the movie, the HD movie. But does this 43 gigabytes that includes the movie and conceivably the extras because the extras are part of the HD package? So is this, when I go back here to what's on my server, is this HD package the full 43 gigabyte package? Or because I downloaded the 4K HDR10 copy and I got the extras, is this like, who knows, 5 gigabytes of content that contains the extras? I'm really curious to know that because if I was a person that had like a lot of movies, I am a person that has a lot of movies, way more movies than I have storage for. And maybe I don't want to take storage space for the full size of these HD packages. And I think like for these movies, I'm probably not actually going to watch the extras. I've already watched the extras a long time ago. I'm not interested in them because I can click one of these, right? I can click on 1917. I can go to the bottom and I can delete the HD package. But I don't know, am I deleting only a very small extras package or am I deleting the entire 43 gigabyte HD package? I would love to know the answer to that. And I think other people might as well. Because I was debating making a video about this topic and I realized, you know what, I don't know the answer. And I was going to reach out and ask that separately anyway. So I was curious about that. If you catch that question, we can talk about that here. Sorry, I just need to do a. I'm getting asked about. Well, I'm sending a note about dinner. We got to wrap this up in a few. I'm rip through these comments, maybe get this question answered, and we'll go from there. But I'd love to make a video on that because it's like, well, if you have limited storage in a big movie collection, you could make a trade, and those HD packages or SD packages are the full package. You could probably make a trade off and get a nice chunk of storage back for more movies if you went through and personally chose to delete the the HD packages. And I think that would be a great recommendation for some folks. Surgeon Ed, also easy to delete by using the app, going to movie, selecting movie, choose version to delete. Yeah, better use yeah, better use of the phone than doom scrolling for sure. Yeah, so you can do that online in either way. There you go. Yeah, there you go, Mike. Perfect stream to ask Mike about the real-time stream data overlay we talked about last week. Yeah, so basically that was the idea of pull up the info, pop up, and then where you see like movie details, scenes, um, make a scenes, chapters, whatever, there'd be an info item in there, and there'd be an info item in there, and we could get detailed playback specs about it. That's what we were talking about last week. The only way currently to make an update disappear is to schedule it to download and then delete it from your download queue. Yeah, we agree this is not ideal. Okay, wow, that would be a lot. I actually went through because it was my OCD was in full effect. And I'm like, you know what? I can't tell which of these are cinematic or not. So I literally sat here probably while I was watching soccer or whatever, but and like, okay, are any of these 4K cinematic? Nope. Cancel, cancel. Go to the next one. Is this one 4K cinematic? Nope. Cancel, cancel, close. I did that for this whole page because I didn't want to miss any I didn't want to miss any 4K cinematic updates. But yeah, if there's a way to do that, like just kind of cancel or refuse an update and then have it go off of this, just right in here. Give me the option, click on it, and then say deny update, and then boom, it goes away and it doesn't show up in the list anymore. I love it. Love that feature. Abrams, I missed last week, but right now the way to see info about the playing content, yeah, is to use the video capabilities display in the browser interface. So we talked about that last week. So okay, ooh, interesting here. Okay, so the 43.3 gigabyte figure includes the features and the extras. Okay, so does that mean then, make sure you didn't already say this. All right, here, let me click through everything you said as we go. Abrams saying, yeah, the main thing we want is the real-time audio and video bitrate displayed. Yeah, bitrate, colors like chroma, like all of that stuff, just kind of there in a nice way. Even if some users that would be overwhelming to get that information, you could have it not available by default and put a toggle to like enable advanced playbacks information or something in the settings, and then you would get that pane if you elected to see it. So the default behavior would be what it is today, but you could opt in to see to be able to access an info page or something. Um, the best way I can think of to figure out whether you have the full feature downloaded or the extras is to look at the history view. If the extras were in a separate file, you'd see two entries. Or if the HD extras were downloaded alongside your 4K, you'd likely see something like, and I think that's what it says. So let's go in here. Trying to think which history shows this. So all right. Wait, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not here. So this just shows the download of the item. This one's cool though, because it shows you the bit rate, the speed rate that you're getting from your service provider. So I think we want to go back here and we get to see it here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it shows here. So this is like Captain America. It downloaded the movie and it downloaded something called a supplement. So then I guess based on that, we should assume that yeah, sorry for the fragment. Yeah, YouTube size limits. Yeah, no problem. No worries. But so then I guess this means that it's not the full package. So if we look at Brave New World formats, the HD copy is 52 gigabytes. So then conceivably, this is not the 52 gigabyte piece. This is just the actual supplement piece, which conceivably would be a lot smaller than 52 gigabytes. But still, if you have a big server and you have a lot of movies and you wanted to try to recover all of the space possible for movies, you could delete the extras manually for all the movies on your server. Yep, no, yep, that's not displayed. Unlikely to be added. Okay. The one thing I'm noticing is the goal to make things simplistic seems to maybe be making things a little more complicated. Well, I mean, things have gotten more complicated just in general. Like it's a tough, we were talking about it's a tough engineering problem right now when you're kind of adding you're adding you have a multi matrix of players, you have a multi matrix of formats, and people are trying to figure out the right ones and stuff like that. Yeah, it goes back to the question of adding complexity that most people don't want. It would be confused by it, and I would think if you're watching the stream, you're not you're not the most people. You're the people that want the techie stuff and the techie features, and are okay with a little more complexity for the sake of like usability, information, and stuff like that. Um, React 1667 FPUB. Is there any way to show off quality differences using screenshots like those 4K Blu-ray channels do with comparing to streaming and regular Blu-ray? Um, yeah, it's subtle. So it's tough. I've been asked this a lot. Like, can you make a video showing the difference? And the problem is these are all commercial films. So, showing anything in motion is going to lead to copyright problem. Um, I can't show commercial movie footage on the channel. Um, and even if I did, it's like, okay, what you're seeing on screen is then being captured by my camera, ran through an editing process, regenerated by I use Camtasia, uploaded to YouTube, and output back again by YouTube at probably 420, basic chroma, etc. So it's decimating the actual input, and I just don't know that that captures. It's something that you got to see in person, I guess. It just can't, so still shots. Yeah, if you really maybe take some shots in pixel peep or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to do that well. Something I'd have to strategize or think about. But right now, our queue of features that have much broader appeal is overwhelmingly huge, so we have to prioritize. Yep, always choices to make in engineering. The thing I say most at work every day, working in professional software development, is no. Can't do that. Great idea, can't do it. Or come back in a year after we've already done everything else that everybody's wanted us to try to do, or these other things that we've put to the top of our strategic list that we're trying to get done for these other requests. Um, yeah, you were in the right place before. Look at Captain America on your system's browser interface. Yep, here it said supplements. Yep. Okay. So then, all right. So that kind of answers that question then. So this should be a reduced size package that like isn't the entire 50 gigabyte, like almost another full movie storage to keep the HD copy. Yeah, I think Kaleidescape would do much better marketing if they could somehow show off differences like those 4K Blu-ray channels do. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I'd like to do it. I'm not discounting the value or the concept of doing it. Um, it's just hard. I don't know. I guess maybe I don't watch the Blu-ray channels. I'd have to see what they're doing, um, and try to figure out how that applies or something like that. So you're saying there's a chance, always a chance. Um, Afro, do you still buy? No, I never got into steelbooks really to begin with, to be honest. I've been pretty much digital since whatever 20 some teen. So, um, and I divested myself of like physical media a long time ago for movies and stuff like that. The only physical media, games, way long time ago. The only physical media that I still enjoy is books. Um, Actually, my wife sent me a big article today about how where's it, Sweden? A bunch of places in Sweden. No, where did it go? Because we homeschool, and yeah, um, Sweden, Finland, Norway, France, Italy, and Denmark are moving away from heavy classroom digitalization and bringing back something many schools thought was disappearing: printed books, handwriting, and traditional reading. Um, Researchers have found that writing by hand and reading physical books can improve memory, concentration, and understanding compared with relying on digital devices. So, yeah, books are the thing that I still like. Although I read on my Kindle, I read on my iPad. There's quite a bit. Like we use the library a lot. We have a really great library and a great library system here. That's been the only thing though that's kept me with any interest in physical media. The only class of things. Music, no, gone long time ago. Games, forget about it. Been buying digital games since the 360. The digital stores came in the 360 PS3 era, I want to say. Um, and then movies when streaming started to get better and I made my shift over to Kaleidescape. That was it for me on the physical movie side. So, but books I still enjoy. Um, though for me it's also it's reading digital. I do agree reading print. I just having two pages open versus just like a one page iPad page, especially for comics and omnibuses and stuff like that. The experience is just so much better. Big pages, printed art. I can see how the reading comprehension thing would be better on a physical book as well. Um, but man, my eyes for things that are close. I have really, really good visual acuity when things are a little further away. So watching movies, big TV, stuff like that, no problem. But when I'm up close on my laptop and stuff, I use reader glasses now. And in some ways, reading some things sometimes on the iPad or a Kindle is a little easier to read than paper to me. But all right. I think we've hit the end of the comments. One more from Maddie. I love my Strato V. Spent a lot of cash since the launch of this SK was the best thing that happened to users like me to be able to afford entry to Kaleidescape. So again, if folks are shopping, you want to catch some deals, you want to take advantage of the supply demand curve of others upgrading and looking to sell existing players, stuff like that. I've been playing matchmaker. Um, I've been married so long I couldn't even tell you like the name of a dating app to make a joke about it. Swipe left. I can I can swipe left. Is that how it works? Swipe left on your um, on the Kaleidescapes available on the market. But yeah, I can matchmake. I can put folks in touch with folks, and vice versa as well. There's more available than there are folks shopping, but folks are shopping. So, and if you want a K, per the conversation we had here, best to get in line. Tinder, that's one of them. That's one of them. I've never had to interact with any of that stuff, and I hope that my marriage quality and life works out that I may never have to. Um, but in any case, get in line. It's like weeks of delay right now, and I'm sure they're working hard. They're busting their chops over there, doing their best to try to get these things out. Demand is huge, I think, and rightfully so. Um, yeah, and so it's a fun time in home theater. Yeah, I'm looking at more 4K say 4K C titles being released, even though I'm still waiting for my K. You see, you pass. Yeah, it'll come. It'll come. So thanks, Julius. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, doing the same thing, waiting for those Ks. Yeah, cool. Understand. Thanks for answering the question and all the info you provided. I'm about to purchase the E. Pump that Joker into the Marantz Cinema 50. Sweet, love it. Well, I don't know where you're going to get it from, Afro Samurai, but if I can help you, let me know. Let me know. There you go. Girls with Tinder only want to date guys with Strato K. So I've got two of them. So maybe I'd be better off in the market than I in the dating market than I thought I would be if two Strato Ks pulls me twice the quality of one and more than the quality of none. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, my wife is so impressed by the Strato K. Yeah, she loves home theater, right? No. She's a great sport. I love her very much. Okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner with her and my kids and family now. 2 hour stream. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Lots of folks, lots of conversation, fun stuff. The World Cup is over. We don't know what we're gonna do with ourselves next. I guess we're gonna watch Mandalorian and Grogu and He-Man hopefully this week, and we'll be back next week. Maybe with Chris, Chris and or Sammy, maybe not. But in any case, we'll talk some stuff. Maybe next week we'll dig into that whole living room, two-channel idea, prospect and stuff a little bit more. But we'll find something fun to talk about in any case and either case. So in the meantime, get in touch if I can help you. And yeah, enjoy some movies this week. Week after will be Spider-Man. Lots of cool stuff happening. We're almost into show season. Got to figure out that, my travel plans and whatever I'm doing there. Um, yeah, check out the webpage, check out the videos. Probably going to knock out. I don't have anything ready to publish yet this week, but I think I'm going to probably do a little jump back to the Apple TV the public betas for tvOS 27 came out a week or so ago. So I want to get some edited videos about those features out. And I need to probably also, I want to get back to the trim off actually, calibration video, cover the calibration process on the trim off, stuff like that. And I still need and dig into a little bit more to the Strato K 4K cinematic format stuff. So those are the videos I need to make. I just have to allocate the time to do them. Channel's still popping. Check it all out. Subscribe to the newsletter. Probably going to drop another newsletter sometime in the next few days as well, alluding to some of the things that we're talking about here. And yeah, appreciate it so much. Thanks for coming out. I want to play around with some more. You're going to see the same intro and outro. It's getting a little stale. I want to get something new as well. Sora died, but I have another AI video app in mind to try to make some hopefully funny and creative stuff to spruce up the entry and exit to the podcast and whatnot. And I'm going to spend some time as well. I want to bring this podcast beyond YouTube, so I need to figure that out. I want to figure out how to get this to like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other places. Try to grow the footprint, bring it to more people, and give some more options as well to be able to listen and interact and stuff like that. So much stuff to do. Thanks for watching, coming back for more home theater discussion and fun. Thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks, Mike, for popping in as well. Much appreciated. Have a good one, everybody.